October may be over, but it looks like the scares are going into overtime. And hopefully the scares are not something that ended up on your phone because you didn't have today's sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by NordVPN. NordVPN is the VPN service that continually strives to make your traversing this digital hellscape known as the internet a little safer, a little more secure. Nord's threat protection, there to stonewall anything that looks suspicious, whether it's a fishy website, a file you download, that suspicious email that didn't look suspicious at the time from Great Aunt Birgit. Who's that? I didn't know I had a great. Exactly, you don't. But curiosity gets the best of all of us. You clicked on the email, so here we go. But with Nord in your corner, it's there to shut that down. And as I assume we're all fans of entertainment, Nord's great for facilitating that binge. Your favorite streaming service has that show or movie you really love, you want to watch it, but it's not available in your region. Nord gives you the ability to change your digital location with one click. Choose between over 5,000 servers in 60 countries. Enjoy the binge, my friends. So click the link below, go to nordvpn.com/johns. Users can get a huge discount with the purchase of a 2-year plan plus 4 extra months. All backed by Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. I always appreciate that. And now let's switch gears. Let's talk about a subject that's slightly less divisive than movies. Religion. So Heretic's written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. It's the story of a couple of sister missionaries from the Mormon church who stumble across this house. That's right. We've all seen Mormon missionaries out there on their bikes. Maybe they're walking with their backpacks. Maybe they've knocked at your door. And they're usually dudes 19 to 21 years old. Lesser known is the fact that there are, in fact, sister missionaries. Which has always been kind of weird to me. I've always been like, is that safe? Maybe that's what the movie... Maybe this is the movie going, no. It's not. But they come to this house where Mr. Reed, played by Hugh Grant, lives. And they start talking and he starts debating religion with them. Sounds kind of boring. It's actually weirdly not. In fact, for the first half of this movie, I was remarkably engaged. All it was people talking. Tarantino's out there like, I know. You can make a career out of that. Not that this has the snappy, punchy Tarantino dialogue, no. But it was executed really well. These girls go into this house. This guy's obviously being a little sketchy. He's not being completely honest with them. And you know that. They feel that. Everyone should run from this house right now. But, you know, they don't. And now they're stuck in this house in which they're going to have to do the most uncomfortable thing ever. Debate religion. Ugh. And that was where I was in the first half of this movie, in which this movie is a sequence of 3 rooms or so that they enter, in which Hugh Grant's character's like, all right, so religion. Here's some metaphors involving board games or music. At a point I was like, is this the movie? Did I accidentally stumble into a 2-hour lecture? Kind of. It's not necessarily the entire movie. The props to make his point do end up changing. Otherwise, yeah, pretty much. But again, giving props with how engaged I was while it was going down, because the uncomfortable situation, the danger alarms going off in your head are always there. It's always on your mind that the door locks behind them and they just can't leave this house. No matter what the subject matter, the guy could have been like, so, how great is Animaniacs really? I mean, you've seen it, right? And it would still be like, but they can't leave. This situation is uncomfortable and dangerous. Any subject matter, it is kind of odd. It feels like 2 movies went splat. A movie about these girls who can't get out of this house, and a movie where this guy's like, so, religion. I do feel Hugh Grant was pretty perfectly cast in here. Because if we're all being honest, charming, likable 90s rom-com guy, Hugh Grant. And now he's older Hugh Grant, which makes him feel a little more seasoned. He's a charming, likable guy, which gets these girls in the door, and you know you're just watching a couple of flies fly right into the spider's web. But it makes sense. He comes across as this, probably was a likable guy at a time, until he lost his mind on Facebook. And that's the problem I run into in this game when they're playing this intellectual game of checkers, posing as chess. At a point I thought to myself, to what end am I watching this? Like, what's the point aside from being lectured? Then I walked out of the movie going, what was the point aside from being lectured? There are some fun, cool, otherwise interesting points Hugh Grant's character brings up in the movie, but I promise you, you have seen them in a YouTube video or read them on social media before. There's no new information here. It's like a best of from that guy. You know the guy. Maybe he's a family member. Maybe he's a friend. Maybe he's a friend of a friend that you friended on Facebook, but we all know the guy. The guy on any given night might just feel it, in which he sits down on his computer and goes, all right, Facebook, here's my opinion on this hot button topic. And he just goes. No one really asked. The movie actually, Hugh Grant's character kind of feels like he was probably that guy. At a point, people stopped responding. He didn't get any more arguments. Realized that everyone had muted him. So he was like, I got a plan. I'm gonna build this mousetrap monstrosity of a house. And then when people come knocking at my door, then they'll have to listen. Again, I thought the parables and metaphors dude brought up were good, but it starts feeling like copy and paste. Like the guy on Facebook, he just wants them to be like, you're right, we're wrong. Now can we go? I thought the ones who played the two sister missionaries, I thought they were good too. Played by Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East. The dynamic between the two was actually what I liked most. You got one who was way more Molly Mormon about it, born into the religion. And you got the other who you feel like is still on her quest to find what she believes, and that quest has just led her to being on a 2-year mission for the Mormon church. That's what the girls should be named. The sister missionaries in this movie are named Fight and Flight. I do take away a couple marks from the script though. Not just because, the script is essentially written by Facebook posts about religion. No, the fact that no one in the movie said the real Mormon F word. Fetch. That's right, that's fetching crazy. Substituting one F word for the other, so you can kind of curse, but not really. Or was that just a guy thing in the 90s? I don't know. Point is, I heard no fetches. Brings the score down a bit. But judging the movie based as a thriller for tension, there were things in this movie that, I'm sorry, that just didn't make sense. The movie's gonna have an unfolding, an unraveling of what's actually going on, reveals. And at a point I was like, nope, that just doesn't actually make sense. But in the end, I had a surprisingly enjoyable time with Heretic. Probably because I didn't see the trailer. I knew nothing about it. The main stars of the movie being that overwhelming sensation of discomfort and tension. And Hugh Grant, I thought he was great. Kind of like Raul Julia in the mid-90s Street Fighter, channeled that Gomez Adams energy. And it's odd to say, but when you watch it, it works. Hugh Grant channeled that likable, charming rom-com energy to deliver a character that makes you feel uncomfortable. But he wasn't necessarily sleazy. That's what I like about him. He still does come across as a gentleman. It's very conflicting, but in an interesting kind of way. I was like, all right, 2 girls in a house. At what point is this just going to be... At what point are they going to have that scene that doesn't need to be in here? It's not like that. I say if you've not yet become so annoyed with that guy on your Facebook to the point in which you mute him, and you're up for another 2-hour lecture about the fallacies of religion, however, in a film that does have some solid tension, I had myself a surprisingly good time. No alcohol required. Subject of much amusement is, what does this guy do when nobody knocks at his door? How often does he actually get missionaries, really? Like, what does he do in his spare time? Facebook posting. Right. I already answered that, I guess. All right, so Heretic, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more. That's fetching crazy.